Hello and welcome to the news. I am Saja Brito. Coming up this evening, Tough Africa Global honors music legend Mr. Oko Drame. Easy Financial Services recognized and award well-dedicated staff on Friday. And our special guest today is friend to the show, Dudu Ja, APRC spokesperson. But first, we'll take a look at the newspapers. The Standard newspaper is reporting that NPP denies maltreating child supporters in Kiang, dismisses allegations as UDP propaganda. We must avoid voting for personal interest in 2021. That's according to the mayor of KMC, Talib Ahmed Bensouda. CSOs tell President Barrow to ensure transparency in constitutional dialogue spearheaded by former Nigerian President Mr. Goodluck Jonathan. Barrow unveils plans to transform Kiang. Let's take a look at some of these stories in detail. Members of the Kiang West community have accused the National People's Party campaign team following President Barrow's tour party of misusing and dumping children in the bush after collecting them to attend their poorly attended meeting in Manduwar village. Alfuseni Sise, a native of Kenaba, alleged in a video seen by the Standard that the NPP team collected children from different villages in Kiang West and transported them to Manduwar to swell their crowd after most adults boycotted the meeting. But instead of returning the children to their respective villages, the NPP drivers either left some behind or deliberately dumped them in the bush away from their native destinations. Another native of Kiang, Baka Tunjai of Manduwar village, also released an audio backing Al-Husseini's allegations. He alleged that when the driver refused to stop for the children to disembark, some of the kids had to jump from the vehicle, resulting in one of them sustaining injuries. When images of the purported injuries surfaced, outraged natives of Kiang took to social media yesterday calling for investigations into the matter. Most commentators condemned the reported use of children to attend political rallies by politicians from all divides. We must avoid voting for personal interest in 2021. The mayor of KMC, Talib Ahmed Bensouda, has urged Gambians to avoid voting for personal interest in 2021. Ahmed Bensouda was quoted as saying, "I want to urge all Gambian voters to avoid being carried away by short-term personal benefits. We must not allow money and vanity to deceive us. As a good citizen, before casting your vote, you should consider which of the political parties will bring the needed development for the country," Talib Ahmed Bensouda told Star FM on a program. Bensouda, who was elected UDP National Organizing Secretary in the party's recent Congress, said the campaign for the 2021 presidential elections will be very difficult. "It is going to be the fight for the minds and souls of Gambians, but we will not underestimate any political party," he said. Turning to the Congress, Bensouda said the UDP is going through a lot of transformation. He said the 2020 Congress, where out of 33 elected executive members, 14 were women and a lot of young people given key roles in the party's top brass, is indicative of a very balanced and multi-tribal nature of it. Now, civil society organizations tell President Barrow to ensure transparency in constitutional dialogue. The Gambia civil society organizations have strongly urged President Adama Barrow, International IDEA, and former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan to ensure transparency, participation, inclusion, and national consensus on the dialogue to revive the draft constitution. In September, Gambian lawmakers rejected a draft constitution to replace the 1997 constitution. About 31 National Assembly members voted in favor of the bill to be passed, while 23 members rejected the draft. The Barrow government then turned to mediation specialist and former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan to find consensus on the draft constitution ahead of its planned return to the National Assembly. Attorney General's Chamber, IEC, urged Supreme Court to dismiss Bibi Dabo and co-lawsuit. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice and the Independent Electoral Commission, represented by Principal State Counsel Keita and Barrister Keba Sanyang, have urged the Supreme Court to dismiss the suit filed by the leader of the Gambia for All Party, Bakari Bunja Dabo, and 4 other Gambians relating to the amendment of the electoral provisions in the 1997 Constitution. Bibi Dabo, Chorno Emenjai, Pasamba Sadaka Jo, Jagan Gray Johnson and Sidi Mohamed Sane filed a suit before the Supreme Court to make a declaration that the amendments of Section 17 of the Elections Act 2015 are constitutional, null and void. Barrow unveils plans to transform Kiang. President Adama Barrow has pledged to transform Kiang with unveiling of a multifaceted project that includes the construction of the Kiang West Road, a mini stadium, and upgrading of the Kiang West National Park into a first-class tourism attraction site. The president made these disclosures during a meeting in Kiang Manduar as part of his ongoing nationwide Meet the People's tour. NPP national launching Congress slated for January 30th. The leadership of the National People's Party has said its much-awaited national launching will be held on January 30th, 2021. A press release from the party shared with the Standard said the highly anticipated launching of the mighty NPP will be held on Saturday, 30th January 2021 at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Now, Sukuta demands return of land from the government of the Gambia. Residents of Sukuta have called on the government to return their land located at Salaji seized during the regime of former Gambian leader Yahya Jammeh. They made this call yesterday at a press conference held at Salaji. Lamin Jata Kenebaring, one of the complainants, explained that natives of Sukuta have been deprived of land to a point that they are now renting in their own village in compounds owned by people who came from elsewhere. That's it for the Standard newspaper. Let's take a look at what the Point is reporting. The Point is reporting that Child Protection Alliance to probe alleged picture of a minors on Barrow's store. Barrow assures Christians of rights protection. Ahmad Ba urges people of Kabada to get voters card after being neglected for 50 years. Let's take a look at those stories. The National Coordinator of Child Protection Alliance, otherwise CPA, has stated that his office will leave no chance to probe the recently alleged picture of minors that emerged on social media arranged to welcome the president on his Meet the People's tour. The alleged picture over the weekend made rounds on social media with children wearing T-shirts bearing the portrait of President Adama Barrow, a situation that was greeted with a string of condemnations, particularly among some opposition leaders, including, of course, the leader of the GMC, Mai Ahmad Fati. Lamin Fati, in an interview with The Point, said the CPA, as a child protection agency, might not have the substantial evidence to accuse the presidential convoy for allegedly arranging of the said children to welcome in the president, but said that the matter will be thoroughly investigated to ascertain the reason of their involvement in the presidential welcoming procession. Ahmad Ba urges people of Kabada to get voter cards after being neglected for 50 years. Tourism and Culture Minister Ahmad Ba has called on the people of Kabada to get voters card once a voter registration commences in January 2021. If you are shouting here without voters cards, that's nothing. Some of your people are currently outside the country. Then if the voters registration starts, it is important that you all come back home and look for voters cards. Mr. Ba said in a meeting held at Japine as President Adama Barrow continued his Meet the People's tour. I want to make it clear to you, the people of Kabala, that if you see a person going to fight, then the individual has weapons and bullets. If you have a gun that doesn't have bullets, then you will be shot to death, he said at the President Meet the People's tour in Japine there. That's it for the newspapers. Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. And when we return, we'll be joined by our special guest today, Mr. Duduja of the APRC.
It's another way to perfume yourself in a luxurious and attractive shop called By Parfum. Come and find rare and natural Churai flowers and also the fragrances of the biggest popular brands Oud Private Collection, Air Freshener, Flora, Venus, Fresh 24 and many other products. With By Parfum, discover the Parfum Bar, a new concept in the world. Personalize your scents with the Parfum Bar. With the Parfum Bar, choose the perfume that looks like you. By Parfum 54 Kayoraba Avenue opposite to American Embassy. You can join us on 77000225 or 529-1888. By Parfum Gambia. You will really love it.
Welcome back, and now I am joined by our special guest on News Review today, who is a friend to the show, by the way, spokesperson of the APRC, Mr. Duduja. Welcome to the Fatu Network News Review.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been quite the year, for the entire world and for the Gambia to be specific as well, from a raging pandemic to the rejection of the draft constitution, the most important document for this country. What is your general overview of 2020 from a political lens?
Definitely, globally, it has affected almost all countries, I would say. And politically, for me, it's been a mind game. Mind game in a sense, like others tend to define politics. For them, it's just like deceiving the masses. Even the COVID-19, most people have politicized it, the way it has affected people. But on the other hand, I would say governments of the day, especially in Africa, COVID-19, it's like a business they yielded interest in because funds come in from different angles that benefited most of these governments.
It's very interesting you raised that because I remember, in the beginning when the disease first came out, you were one of the people who actually said that, look, this thing does not exist. It's all part of global politics. But we've seen the number of people who have died because of this pandemic. Do you still stand by those words? We know a lot of people say it might be real, but we all know that there is politics behind the outbreak of this pandemic. Do you still stand by those words?
Yes, by then I was referring to the Gambia. What happened in other countries was apparent. But in this country, it's nothing that was visible to the people. Everything was kept under the carpet until they did their homework properly. That's when they started coming publicly, giving certain information when people has been asking for that at a very long time. But from them, they said most the cases they had were imported cases and not like people within the country. So the pandemic, it existed. I was referring to the Gambia
in specific. So you think they were just making up cases?
Yeah, and they opened up so that our borders were very loose and people were imported. Imported in a sense, the cases that existed, they said they were imported cases, not homegrown.
For a virus that's still raging, how would you rate the Gambia government's response to this pandemic?
I am somebody who is very IT oriented. I make a lot of research, dig sources. If when you go to Western countries, there are people still not believing in the COVID-19. Based on even some health officers who came publicly trying to downplay that it's nothing real, it's just politics. I had a lot of videos like even Association of German doctors, that took to the social media trying to enlighten people and the like. But for government response, it comes in two ways. One, for them, it's nothing that's life-threatening because the way they react and how they allow people mingling and interacting, etc. And two, a large part of it, when it comes to supporting the people, especially the Gambians, it has been politicized. To the extent what is being distributed, it's like for a chosen few, not to the general masses that they give randomly, but it's like handpicking certain communities and certain people and compounds, and they help them with this aid.
And now that, let's not forget that markets were closed in the beginning, schools were shut down, nobody was going anywhere, borders were closed. And it's not like the virus is gone, it's still here with us. And then these regulations are still in place. Just because places are open doesn't mean we don't have to wear the mask, we don't have to social distance. And then there is a toll going on. And then the president is very much, we don't see much of these regulations being, implemented there. And then when he was giving his Christmas message to the Christian community, he said, he reminded Gambians to follow these regulations. What do you think of that, Councillor Sanding?
I believe when you take certain measures, you should also provide solutions to the people, like closing down shops, markets, and other areas. What other alternatives did government offer to them? Most of them were just left dangling around, which is a concern for me because most people, their daily bread depends on that. And on the other hand, I've been saying it, government are not taking these regulations seriously because they're not enforcing it on the people. You go to public places, you wonder, it's COVID-19 really in our midst compared to other countries, and how we've been make believe the virus, how it can travel very fast, others how they can come in contact with the virus. In the beginning, it's like that is fading out. To the extent people were cautioned how to open doors, how to touch other surfaces, but all this is diminishing. And for people to go back to previously how these regulations were put, it will be very difficult, especially in this country.
Not to be personal or anything, but I would like us to talk about the Minister of Health, because a lot of people are criticizing him, saying at a time when a country is going through a virus that we don't know nothing about, you should be here talking to the people. But meanwhile, you are busy with the president going on a tour. Do you think people are being fair, or they're just attacking him unnecessarily?
No, not attacking unnecessarily. They're talking about facts. I always lament that people who should advise the president, they're not giving him accurate advices. Because there are certain issues, even if the president wants to embark on it, you give your advices. You don't have to swing along and do what the president wants, if that is the case. Being appointed a minister, you have responsibility, though being appointed by the president, but you should serve the people, not the president. And it is the same minister who've been giving us updates on several occasions, how contagious the virus is, how deadly it is. So if at a point in time, they all have to be, succumbing to social activities happening around us, that's why I said, for a second phase, coming to talk to the people, are they going to listen? When you're not practically, implementing whatever you put into the people.
Now let's talk about the tour, which many politicians are not happy about. But when you talk to people who support the president or the people who belong to his National People's Party, they say, what's the deal? Big whoop, this is part of his constitutional mandate to go out there and face the people. What's your overview of the president's Meet the People's Tour 2020?
They cannot just handpick the Meet the People's Tour 2020 as a constitutional mandate. It's a constitutional mandate for the president to be answerable to the parliamentarians, go to parliament, but he never did. He rather pushed the vice president. So whatever it's a mandate within the constitution, you should respect all, not to pick and choose what is to your favor. Not even if it's a constitutional mandate, the president has executive powers. If your priority is Gambians, if your priority is to develop this country and to live up to expectations and keep promises, you don't just clinch by the constitution and said it's a presidential mandate. It could have been organized better. And Meet the People's Tour, it's going to people, knowing what their problems are, and you try to address it. But it's the other way around. Very few people will come and lament what their problems are, and you will have like up to 5, 7, 10 government officials who will talk to the people. So it's been happening the reverse. They should do more of listening, that is, have very big ears to listen to the people, and especially those in key sectors like health, education, agriculture, etc., for them to take down the needs of the people and to make sure they will act on it. Either it's short term, medium term, or long term, but these needs must be addressed. But for us, or what we Gambians are seeing, it's more of politics, responding to critics, attacking others. These are issues, it should be of the past. And when you talk about a new Gambia and you make a lot of promises, I think it is high time to deliver to the masses.
And some people said this has become like a cross-carpeting event sort of thing. But how would you compare President Barrow's Meet the People's Tour to your former president, Yahya Jammeh? Most of his was more like going into the farm. How do you compare the two?
He was a farmer, gave priority to agriculture and all other sectors. In as much as most people don't like him, you wouldn't exit 6 months without hearing a new project or something initiated during the days of Jammeh. He was very conscious of what he offers to the people. And even Meet the People's Tour, some of the statements we're hearing during the days of Jammeh, he doesn't entertain that you take to the platform, be on the mic, and you can castigate and attack other people. He's somebody who believes, like others, not disrespecting people publicly. But we're seeing that very rampant, especially with the Minister of Tourism. Some of his statements are very, very disturbing.
And now the tour commences again today for the second leg, and they're heading to Fonyi, a stronghold of the APRC. Are you bothered?
Not the least. As far as Fonyi is concerned, their loyalty, they have demonstrated that. APRC in general, we've seen it in other political parties. We have 5 MPs and about 12 councillors. None of them has cross-carpeted for the 5 years we've survived as opposition.
And you believe it's going to remain that way? There's been a lot of cross-carpeting recently, even from the members of parliament themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, not from the APRC. One thing beautiful about the party is the people are committed and their loyalty is definitely unquestionable. So Fonyi is not APRC alone. Yes, it's a stronghold. I agree. We have a lot of loyal people in there. But I'm not foreseeing mass cross-carpeting because the people of Fonyi are still struggling, they're still suffering under President Adama Barrow's government. They've been marginalized, that's the bottom line.
I've been watching the video online, and I see a lot of people commenting that the crowd is not very large as compared to other areas. Is that something that you expected?
Of course, talking about Fonyi, unless even if they import their own crowd, they will not have a crowd like the APRC does. That is quite factual, that no matter what you do in Fonyi, it's not like what you give them moves them. They don't have their liberty and freedom. You go around, patrol around the Fonyi end, you'll see the Senegalese soldiers, economic troops and the like, as if the people of Fonyi have committed a heinous crime. I don't see the need for that. And you want to win their loyalty, you want the same people to support you when they're living under very difficult conditions.
You know, it's been quite the tour, and so many promises have been made by the president. But when he takes to the podium in Fonyi, what are the things that you expect him to address?
He will talk about the former president, his coming, giving him security and the like. He always hides himself behind that, because the people of Fonyi, the former president, it's from them. His relatives are still in Fonyi, and the loyalty and love they give to him, or they have shown for the past years, you know, it's something that a lot of people admire. So making them promises, it will be very, very difficult. You cannot promise me peace when you put security in my midst to keep an eye on me and restrict my movements. You know, been seizing a lot of my domestic rights and our basic necessities that we cannot provide. What type of peace are you promising them? You must act first practically. People are not sleeping anymore. They want to see results of reality. And especially when the president himself said, when you are campaigning, you could say all sorts of things. So if people believe whatever he says, then we must be naive.
Do you think that the president should address the death of Haruna Jatta?
I believe so. They said they're going to usher in democracy, transparency, accountability, rule of law, justice. The list goes on. It has to be practicalized. Haruna Jatta is a Gambian. Even if he committed a crime, I think he should have addressed that long time ago. Why the silence? Why ignoring what has happened as if it is not a soul? We believe if there are wrongs that happened in the past, it shouldn't be repeated. But repeating the wrongs, it's as if that is a matter of choice. Not that it has never happened or people don't know, but it should be handled differently. When you turn a deaf eye to that, definitely it's something else. But I don't foresee it, because the sad incident, the unfortunate what happened with Haruna Jatta happened in the hands of the Senegalese. And it is as if our president, he bows down to them.
Are you still worried that Fonyi is essentially the base of the economic forces?
Not economic forces, but the Senegalese forces. Because the forces there, they are not under ECOMIC. ECOMIC has clarified that. They said the Senegalese forces, there is an agreement between our president and the president of Senegal. It didn't go through parliament for them to ratify or to endorse.
Was that necessary to have those forces there?
I don't think so. It was based on the false information that was giving that there are rebels in Fonyi. A lot of information that's not quite true. And it's been 4 years. It should have been long enough for them to do their investigation and know what is factual and what is not. But I believe there's a specific interest that the Senegalese forces has in Fonyi, especially logs that are traveling in and out of the country, they're controlling it. And a lot of other issues, especially whatever comes from the southern part of Senegal, that is Casamance. They believe the rebels are using Gambia, looking for a business sort of, or trying to lobby funds. So this is what they want to cut down at the expense of those Gambians being deprived of their basic rights and necessities.
Now let's talk about the draft constitution. I know it's been months now, but it seems like we cannot get past, or we cannot get over this, because this is like the most important document for this country. All of a sudden, we like they say, the opposition said, we've trashed out millions and millions of Gambian dollars, and out of nowhere, we have the former president of Nigeria, Mr. Goodluck Jonathan, who is in the country spearheading negotiations, should I call it, or whatever we want to call it. How do you feel about that?
In the first place, it's like us as Gambians, we always have to cross borders and look for people who will come to our aid, support, mediate, negotiate, etc.
It's the outsourcing in us.
Don't we have genuine Gambians who could play a better role, who knows our diversity, who understands our customs and traditions, who know which button to press, how to get people, you know, agreeable to certain terms and conditions, but always we have to go beyond our borders. For me, it is as if our sovereignty is gone. And don't tell me there are no Gambians who could mediate at that capacity. I believe there are Gambians who can go beyond those borders, and they will be in our midst, not for a few days, but for a very long time. They will enter every hole and climb up every tree to make sure that this problem is going to be ironed out. But why? Always it must be people from outside.
It doesn't still change the fact that the APRC does not care about this new draft constitution. You guys are still in for the 1997 constitution.
Yes, we're saying give us what is better than the 97 constitution if you want us to forgo the 97 constitution and embrace something that would determine how we're going to live our lives. I have said it on several platforms that the way it was drafted is like top-bottom approach, when it should have been bottom-top approach. With all the consultations that they did, you must listen to the people what they want. If you ignore that, the people are going to rise against that. This is what I have been crying. Now look at the language in itself. It's not simplified. You need a legal practitioner to translate. Can the poor people afford it? No. Why can't you make it simple? Why can't people's rights and their needs and wants be embedded in it? We would have actually said, yes, this is what suits us. But there are a lot of conflicting clauses, a lot of confusing clauses within the Constitution that need to be clear in the mindset of people before we say yes to it.
And one more thing before I let you go. For some reason, it seems like the APRC is always used by some Gambians to give bad examples. You know, the president just came back from his Meet the People's tour recently, just before Christmas, and then all of a sudden we saw pictures online of little kids welcoming the president, which so many political parties took issues with because they were wearing portraits of the president. And out of nowhere, we also saw the wives of the police with their little association and stuff, and they said, oh, this is exactly what Jammeh was doing, and now look, you are repeating. What is your response to that?
First of all, it's not starting now. Since the borough for 5 years, I saw a lot of primary school kids, a lot of kids that are definitely underage. We're not saying they should not be into politics, but not in their mass numbers. You know, to the extent by then we had our activity, our last rally we had at Abuko, we have a group of youths that came there so tired. We gave them food, gave them water, and we asked them, what are you doing? They said, no, they gave us t-shirt and money, so we joined them. Most of them don't even know why. But NPP are so desperate to pull crowds to show people that people are supporting them, they have the masses behind them. But bring the elderly, not the youths. They cannot vote for you. We're talking about 2021. Those kids will need more than 5 years or even more before they will be eligible to vote. Why are they so desperate that they're bringing young people? And these young people, you don't owe them to drag them into the line of politics, but give them something that would give them hope that they are Gambians and the future is bright for them. I don't think politics should be their career at this moment.
But they said that NPP as a political party had nothing to do with it. They in fact said that it was based on the accord of their own families. Do you think that is the truth here?
I doubt. If you give me t-shirts, I wouldn't parade my own kids outside. In as much as I am a politician, I know my kids have other responsibilities. And I love my kids too much that I'll have to drag them into politics. What would it benefit them? I don't definitely believe such stories. Even if that happens, should they tolerate it? Should they encourage it? Like I say, it's not starting now. But for 5 years, that's where it started. I had a lot of videos and pictures. Even within my Dipakunda, a lot of youths being on top of this gele shouting, Barrow for 5 years, Barrow for 5 years. It started since last year. It's not like because of this store. No, they shouldn't use this store to blame families. It's been happening since last year. What did they do?
So what's up with the wives of the police in their t-shirts and stuff? Is that something that you will condemn as a, as a politician?
For that, I wouldn't condemn that. They are mature adults and it is up to them to affiliate with any political party of their choice. They are wives of the police. They are not police. For them, they're Gambians, they're citizens, they have every right to affiliate to any political party. If they feel the incumbent is their choice, for me, I have no problems with that. They must make a choice. If they don't want to be indulged in politics, I believe it's not all of them, but for those who want to be, it is their God-given right.
What do you have to say to the Gambian people, but most especially to your APRC supporters?
As usual, let's be law-abiding. There's no constitution that can suit the needs of each and every Gambian. Even the bad laws, let's respect them. If we don't want it, let's change it. I've been advocating for this. And let's love our country and let's be tolerant. Politically, let's be tolerant to each other. But we are diversified people, and this is how we have lived since we were young. Let's not allow modern day politics to divide us. I've been always advocating for the dynamics of politics must change, and it is us, the youth, who have to change it. We've been coming in fresh in the political scene and not part of yesterday's politics. So let's shape a new future for our politics, that is to accept each other, to encourage peace messages, to love one another and know that Gambia belongs to all of us. Being the incumbent opposition, we all have a role to play to build this country.
It's important to share that message because Gambian politics has been interesting recently, but it's taken also a different tone, if you may call it. People are saying that Gambians are more divided now than ever. What do you think?
Social media has contributed a lot. In the past, what happened within communities, and it does not spread very fast. But with the advent of social media, what happened within minutes, it's all over the globe. That has contributed immensely for people to adapt to this. But I've been very defiant that there's no tribalism in this country. What we have is tribalists, people who want to advocate for it, who have that philosophy and ideology. Go to our compounds, different tribes, we live together in peace and harmony. Even within politics, families, we're not in the same political parties, and we coexist peacefully, not all of us. At our workplaces, at our schools, you go to the market within society. We're not saying this place is for Fulas, that place is for Wolof. We don't have to cross each other. It's not happening. So I don't see the tribalism they're talking about. There are people advocating for it through the social media, through WhatsApp, etc. I call them tribalists. But as Gambians, we all live harmoniously despite our different ethnicities and tribes.
Thank you very much, Judija, for coming through to the Fatu Network as usual. Thank you very much for granting us this interview.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll go for a break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Do you want to win millions of dollars this December? All you have to do is dial *777# for free or call or SMS 1010 at $3 is only to participate in the new AfriHali show and be part of the 7 daily winners.
Every Tuesday, Wednesday and Fridays live on GRTS, Afri Radio and social media platforms. Be part of our lucky winners.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back. And now on Friday, one of the leading microfinance companies, Easy Financial Services, held their first ever awards ceremony. More in this report. COVID-19 crisis has impacted so many businesses this year, forcing many across the globe to find new ways to plow forward. One company grateful to have survived a difficult year is microfinance company Easy Finance. The money transfer company, which started with only 3 employees, celebrated how far the company has come on Friday and recognized its workers for a job well done amid a raging pandemic. CEO Alpha Jallo said the establishment of Easy Finance was his way of contributing to the socio-economic development of the Gambia. Jallo also gave an overview of his company and how it all started.
It all started with 3 employees, 1 office, and was only providing 3 services to our customers, namely Western Union, MoneyGram, and RIA. But with sound management and strong dedication, we have grown steadily, and today, I can proudly tell you, we are among the biggest bureau de change company in the Gambia. With over 40 branches nationwide. This is all geared to ensure close proximity to our customers to make life easy, just to go by our name, easy. Now, dafa wara yomba kon, yep la wara yomba, yeah? Also, Easy Financial have employed over 85 staff with better working conditions and provide an opportunity to customers, both locally and internationally, with better standards of services characterized by a diverse range of products and services.
CEO Alpha Jallow said despite 2020 has been a difficult year for businesses, he takes pride in the fact that his company was able to increase its market share.
As we all know, 2020 was marked by increasing competitions in our traditional businesses, including an escalation in the number of new bureaus entering the market, and also branch expansion, coupled with COVID-19, which took the world by surprise and creates tougher economic conditions worldwide, making business environment difficult and more competitive. However, despite all this difficult operating environment and the tougher economic conditions, Easy Financial Services have increased its market share across the country in order to position itself.
Jallow said the company's achievements could not have been possible without the dedication of his employees, and he had this to say to them.
To the staff, I want to let you know that you all have made us proud. To be honest, without your dedication and tremendous effort shown over the years, Easy Financial Services would not have been where we are today. Kon mang leen wax jërëjëf ngàcce njaalaama on jaaraama emite kati njoko njak.
The night ended with some ambience as some dedicated workers were recognized and awarded for their hard work. Sergio Brito reporting. And now, Tough Africa Foundation, under the leadership of Tough Africa Global, on Saturday held its second edition of the Tough Icon Awards in recognition of music legend Mr. Oko Drame at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center in Bijilo. Jaka Sise tells us more.
As part of delivering 1% of its revenue to social development, the Tough Africa Foundation, under the Tough Africa Global, on Saturday held its second edition of the Tough Icon Awards in recognition of musical legend Mr. Oko Drame at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center in Bijilo. The purpose of the event is to celebrate and showcase the incredible achievements of the older generations whilst they are still alive, and also serve as an inspiration for the younger generations.
As part of our corporate social responsibilities, Tough Africa Global dedicates 1% of its total revenue to advance the meaningful development and growth of the communities that we serve. The foundation has developed a series of initiatives targeting different members of society. As a Pan-African organization, Tough Africa Global sees this as a moral obligation to advance the sustainable development goals and to also make a difference in the lives of the communities that have given a lot to our organization over the past 30 years. The Tough Icon. The Tough Icon is an annual event that seeks to celebrate and honor retired Gambians who are impacting the lives of people through community development initiatives. And this year's award goes to Mr. Oko Drame. Now, as I said, and probably in Wolof, Oko Suñ Magla. Oko Suñ Magla, judo Hagan, ñun ñu judo Angle C. Ku xam Oko xam ne danga ko xamee si entertainment. jógee fa Sahara bi ñoo gën a doon ay xale yu góor di màgga loolu keroog maa ngi ko fàttaliku ne ko maa ngi fàttaliku soo daan DJ ba teg Rufus featuring Saka Khan you've got the love so oko yu bari nga mën a fàttaliku the reason why we are doing this it is high time that we as Gambians recognize our heroes whilst they are alive.
Mr. Okodrame is a music producer and one of the leading promoters of African music festivals in the world and the Sotokoto music in Hollywood, USA. This festival in Amsterdam, launched in 1983, has grown into a major event that brings together more than 10,000 people annually. The night was an eventful and memorable one, showcasing video tributes from individuals Mr. Drame had worked with from different parts of the world. Mr. Drame, in his speech, highlighted the importance of our African culture and its uniqueness in the Western world.
Lita limuna am tay dafa am lu ma fi fekka dama fekka TAF Foundation from TAF Construction boobu construction company bi amul foundation waaye li ma gën a sawarloo ci foundation bi dafa mel ni lépp ci man lu ñu daan ooyee daana fi am parce que lu am dañ ko dee wax lu nit def dañ ko dee wax jëkkewuma fi waaye soo leen déggee ci ñi doon wax fii ci screen bi ñu bari jóge wuñ Gambia waaye xam nañ ma parce que juróom-ñeenti at liggéeyuma Gambia defuma fi benn peppi liggéey lu mooy America England China France ba ñoom laa indi tey ñuy wax ci lii li ma gënaloon mooy waa dëkk bi di mun a wax ci ñi fi juddoo su ko bitim réew defee loolu daf ñu sori warugal la ci ñun jikko lañ dee yóbbu bitim réew ak suñ cosaan meew mi nga nampa sa yaay ci sa cusi wenn yaay mooy cosaan la woon de cus xam ma lan moo ko wécci bi def ko cosaan waaye cusi ween bi ñu def ko nampa cosaan ci cus la jógee ñun dañ ko nampa dunda ko réew muñ dem ne ñun ñooy ñii dafa am fuñ jógee dañ am cosaan am ay maam dëkk yu bari tey Gambia leen mag.
The program brought together important people from society, family and friends, and griots to celebrate Mr. Okodrame. The night ended with a cocktail dinner. Reporting for the Fatu Network News Review, Jaka CCJT.
Imagine owning a home or a service plot, enjoying the sunrise and sunset from a beautiful garden, morning hugs and beautiful moments with your loved ones, the never-ending stories, beautiful memories that will last a lifetime, making and sharing great moments with family and friends. You can turn this into a reality. All you need is a TAF home.
That will be it for News Review this evening. Do join us tomorrow if you can. Thank you very much for watching and bye for now.